So hello to Looby Macnamara. Thanks very much for joining us on International Permaculture Day. This is Mike Grenville from Transition Forest Row. And Looby is a permaculture teacher, and through connections to Nepal, she supports the Himalayan Permaculture Centre there with a fair trade business called Spirals of Abundance. And in particular, she's author of a great new book called People and Permaculture, which has come out just a couple of weeks ago, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very recent, yes.
So, first of all, before we get on to the book, how did you get involved in permaculture in the first place? What was that sort of moment of inspiration?
Well, I'd heard about permaculture from some friends, and then it wasn't until I went to my permaculture design course that it started to fall in place. And when I was on the course, I was very much inspired by how it was taught as much as the information I was receiving. I was very inspired by all the creative teaching techniques and the way that everyone was given voice in the course, and that we were all working as a group to find solutions and to think outside the box. So it was very inspiring, the course itself. And that led me on to sort of thinking, oh, one day I'd like to teach permaculture. Yes.
And so you did.
Yes, yeah. So the doors opened, and that's kind of the path that I've followed for the last 10 years, is teaching permaculture, and not just the usual permaculture design courses. I teach advanced design courses and teach training courses so that other people can also become permaculture teachers. And also now I'm developing people and permaculture courses that are based on the book, that help us look at how we can apply the principles and design to all areas of our lives.
Yes, so tell us about the book. What inspired you to really focus on the aspect of people in permaculture?
Yeah, well, I've kind of realised for a long time that we've got a lot of tools for extensive planet repair and care, but they're not being put in place, and it led me to ask the question, well, why aren't they? And then I realised that on all levels, it's the people stuff that can get in the way, on our sort of from our own time management in our garden to how the international politics scene, and so it was like, well, we really need to put some attention to the people side of things, and then that can maybe help us with the land and with earth care. And so I realised as well how powerful the ethics, the principles and the design were for creating positive change. So I decided to research and to develop how we can apply those to our people-based systems as well as our land-based systems.
Yeah, yeah. And I noticed that you had Polly Higgins as the writing the foreword, which I was quite surprised at. It was, as you say, really bringing it right out to who's in fact I'm talking to later on as well about ecocide. So
yes.
That was an area that you felt really, it wasn't just about the sort of soft areas of people, as it were. It was, you mentioned about the politics as well.
I think it's all interconnected, actually. How we feel on a personal level and what's happening on a global level and with our ecosystems. I think they're all totally interconnected, and that by paying attention to one aspect, then we can also help to improve other aspects as well. So I wouldn't. I know that the people side of permaculture maybe has a reputation of being soft and fluffy, but actually I see it as integral to our solving the problems on the planet.
Yeah.
And therefore not soft and fluffy at all, but it's really essential. Yeah. And I think that actually every single person on the planet is involved in people care in some way or another, whereas actually a lot of us don't have access to land. So that by bringing permaculture more into the people systems, it's applicable to every single person on the planet.
Yeah, yeah. So what's your vision? How do you see, you talk about you're using the knowledge you gain in writing the book for courses and so on. Where do you see this going? What's your vision for the future with people and permaculture?
Well, I think that, I mean, as I just said, that not everyone has access to land, but we are all involved in people care. So, so once we all start learning about how we can use permaculture in our lives and becoming conversant in the principles and using design, then actually there's a potential for a massive global transformation of all our systems, from our personal to our governance. And therefore, and that will have a knock-on effect on how we treat our ecosystems.
Yeah, yeah, and hence the legal side as well.
Yeah.
So, what's your message for other permaculturalists on the International Permaculture Day?
Well, really, I think it's about asking the questions of how can we take permaculture into our own mind, into our relationships, thinking how do I operate as a person? And then how can I use permaculture to create abundances in all levels of my life? So my happiness, my health, my friendships, my communication. And ultimately asking the question then of how can I use permaculture to increase my ability to positively contribute to the world?
That's wonderful, Looby. Thank you so much for talking to us today. For Permaculture Day, visit permacultureday.info for these and all the other videos from today. Thank you.
Lovely. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Great. Thank you, Looby.